Previously on Game Gengo.
新しい仲間には
まもなく ID スキャニングエリアを通過します。
あの腐ったピザのせいで。
Hey guys, and welcome back to Game Gengo, the video series where we learn Japanese through video games. So in this video, we're now going to be starting Chapter 3, finally, of Final Fantasy VII Remake. And so if you're new to the series, we go through an immersion section, then an analysis, then a review, and then a quiz. And so try and watch the first immersion section, see how much Japanese you know, and then I'll explain it next in the analysis section. So in this episode, we're going to be learning over 30 new words. It should be a little bit shorter than normal, hopefully. So let's get into the video. Okay, so starting off Chapter 3, here we have everyone safely arriving back at Sector 7, and so Biggs and Wedge and the rest of the gang are all kind of celebrating. And here, Wedge says, everyone's back safe and sound, operation was a huge success. Zain buji kikan, saksen daiseikos. So Zain is everyone, buji is safely. We've covered that language before, but now we have kikan. So this means return. However, you can see that return isn't the first word in this definition, it's actually repatriation. Now, I've never seen this word before in the English language, maybe you have, but for me, I'm not familiar with this word. However, when looking up the actual Japanese definition of this word, it's used when you're coming back from a long journey. Perhaps you've gone to war and you've come back after this arduous journey, that's where this kikan is used. And then the next line we have saksen daiseikos. So saksen is your military strategy, your operation, the bombing mission. Then we have daiseiko. So dai is huge, big. It's literally the kanji for big. And seiko is success. So a huge success. Daiseiko. And then you have s at the end, which is just the contracted way of saying des. A big first step in saving the planet. Hoshi o suku dekkai hajime no ippo da. So Hoshi or Sku, we've seen many times meaning to save the planet. Next we have Dekkai. Now we've actually learnt the even bigger version of this, Baka Dekkai, just absurdly huge. This is just normal Dekkai, normal huge Dekkai. And then we have Hajime no Ippo. So Hajime means the first, no means the first something, Hajime no, the first, Ippo, the first step. So Ippo is just a step. Now some of you might be familiar with the quite popular boxing anime and manga, Hajime no Ippo. And this is literally the same thing, first step. However, in English they've translated that anime into fighting spirit, a little bit weird, but it actually is first step. Hajime the first, no Ippo, step. Now in the English version here, Big says, and one step closer to a brighter future. Which is, yeah, pretty much the same thing. Hey guys, don't speak so loudly, you'll get caught. Omaera, piihyara shaben jane, tsukamaru zo. So omaera is you guys, a very rude way of saying you guys, and then this piihyara. So this word is actually quite difficult, you won't find this in a dictionary. But if you know of those party blowers, those little rolled up things that you blow in at parties and goes, those things, that is what a piihyara fue is. So it's the flute blowing the party blower, right? Now piihyara in this sense is being used as a kind of adverb to modify shaberu, to talk. So he's saying don't talk in a loud and kind of distinctive voice, right? Very loud and high pitch. So piihyara shaberu, to talk kind of loudly, jane, so don't do it. And then next he says tsukamaru zo. So tsukamaru means to be captured or to be arrested. Tsukamaru, and then zo is the masculine ending. So don't talk so loudly, you get arrested. Or in the English version, he says, guys, lower your voices, people are listening. So really similar stuff. You're free to go about on your own business until the next mission. Tsugi no sakusen made jiyu koudou. So tsugi no means the next something. Tsugi, next, and then no is the possessive particle. So tsugi no, what's the next? The next sakusen, the next mission. Tsugi no sakusen made, until the next mission. Jiyu koudou. So jiyu is freedom! That is for freedom, for jiyu. And then koudou, this is your action or your activity, right? Moving yourself around, going here and there, koudou. So free action, jiyu koudou. So you're free to go about and do what you want to do. Now in the English translation they've said, now get some R&R, you've earned it. Go and eat something like the most delicious food ever. So saiko is the very highest. Sai means the most, and then ko is high. So the highest, or the best, right? It's kind of like a list, and the very top, saiko. Saiko ni umai. So umai is a kind of stronger way of saying oishii, which is delicious or yummy. So it's just, oh, delicious, umai. Saiko ni umai mono, demo, something like, or even, kuttoke. So ku is a kind of rude way of saying taberu. Now I have actually never used this word personally, but some people do. If you're kind of masculine and slangy, you might use ku. Characters like Goku use ku. Now I find that if you think about it like the difference between eat and chow down in English, you can kind of see the different ways that taberu and ku are interpreted. Taberu is just the normal way of saying eat, right? But chow down is kind of a slangy, kind of almost rude way. It's a little bit vulgar way of saying let's eat. Oh, come on, let's chow down. You wouldn't go to a fancy restaurant and say, let's chow down, right? It's a little bit vulgar. And that's the same thing here with ku. It's a little bit vulgar the way that you're saying taberu. Ku. And then we have toke, so ku toke, and this means to do something in advance and then in the imperative form. So it's a lot of contraction going on. We have te oite, to do something in advance, and then that's being put into the imperative form, so te oke, and then it's being contracted, so just toke. So rather than kutte oke, it's just that kutte oke is just kutoke. It's just been contracted together. So go and do it in advance. So he's literally saying that you should go and do something like eat something in advance of the next mission, right? To prepare yourself for the next mission and kind of, relax. Which is kind of what he said in the English version, last sentence. Now here he says, just be ready for the next mission. So that's literally what he's saying, right? Go and eat some delicious food so you're all nice and ready for the next mission. So everyone runs off, Cloud's been left behind, and Barrett looks over and says, Ajito de na. I'll see you at the hideout. Now, he doesn't actually say see you, he just says ajito. Ajito is the hideout, or the kind of safe house. And then de means at, right? So at the safe house. Na, which is just the masculine way of checking to make sure that he understands, like ne. So he's saying ajito de ne, or ajito de na. So at the hideout, right? So it's understood through context that he means I'll see you at the hideout, right?
忘れたか
Have you forgotten? Wasuretaka? So have you forgotten where 7th Heaven is? However, the weird thing is, I'm not even sure if Cloud's even been to Sector 7 before, so to ask if he's forgotten where it is seems a little bit strange. Unless it was instructions telling him where to go, then I'd understand. And so here in the English version he says at 7th Heaven. Now that kind of feels a little bit more natural because it's just the name of a shop, right? You can find that out even if you haven't been there.
店の名はセブンスヘブン
The shop's called 7th Heaven. Oh, okay, great. So there we go. He's giving directions. Mise no na wa 7th Heaven. So mise is the shop, right? The shop, the establishment, the restaurant. Mise no na, the name of the restaurant or the name of the shop. So na means name. It's the same kanji from namae, the na in namae for name, but it's just na, just that kanji by itself. You might have seen this. There was a hugely popular anime film a couple of years back called Kimi no na wa, as for your name, or your name is. And so this na is name. And then he just has 7th Heaven, 7th Heaven.
ティファに顔を見せて安心させてやれ
Show Tifa your face and just reassure her that you're okay. So, Tifa ni kao misete anshin sasete yare. Tifa ni means to Tifa, right? Kao is your face, and miseru is to show. So, show your face to Tifa, Tifa ni. So, kao misete, if you put it together, kao miseru, it just means to make an appearance, right? To show up. And so here in the dictionary we have this combined version, kao mise, to show up and to show one's face. And then he says, anshin sasete yare. So anshin means relief or peace of mind. Anshin suru is to do the relief or peace of mind. Anshin saseru is to make someone be relieved or have peace of mind. And that's what he's saying. Make her have peace of mind. Anshin sasete yare. So now he's telling him to do it. Te yare is telling him to go do it. And so in the English version he says, don't keep her waiting, she'll worry. Which is true, exactly what he's saying in both the Japanese and the English. He wants him to reassure Tifa, otherwise she'll worry. Marlene, Dad is home. So this is a really cute scene. You have Barrett being all bossy and super strict. He's like, hey, you guys do this. Hey, you guys do this. Hey, hey, hey. Right, and then as soon as he walks around the corner, he's like an excited schoolgirl. Ah, Marlene. Very cute. So he says, Marlene, Tor-chan. Tor-chan is a cute way of saying Tor-san, right? It means father. But he's calling himself Tor-chan. So that shows his kind of cute relationship with his daughter, that he calls himself Tor-chan. Tor-chan, that's me. It's very cute. And then kaitazo, I've come home. So here, kaeru means to come home. Now we saw previously kikan means to return, but kind of after a long journey, a long battle. Here, kaeru is the much normal way of saying to return home. So you can use this in your daily life whenever you come home. You can just say kaeru. And so you can say kaeru to mean to go home. You can also say okaeri nasai to say welcome home. So this is a really useful verb, this kaeru. And then in the English version, he says something really similar. He just says, not long now, honey, daddy's almost home. So yeah, okay, he isn't quite home yet. And so maybe that's why they've decided to say that. But in the Japanese version, he says, I'm home, which is true. He's at Sector 7. That's his home. He's made it home.
魔法は星を巡る地って言われてもな。
And so as Cloud follows Barrett to 7th Heaven, he comes across this weird guy that's kind of looking at all these posters and ripping them down. And so he says, you hear that? They even say that Mako is the blood that runs around the planet. Mako wa hoshi o meguru chi te iwarete mo na. So Mako wa hoshi is Final Fantasy VII's way of saying planet, o meguru chi. So hoshi o, we know that something's going to happen to the planet, right? It's the object. So hoshi o meguru means to go around. So what's going around? Chi, blood. So the blood that goes around the planet, hoshi o meguru chi. And so for fans of the original Final Fantasy VII, you might be familiar with the live stream, and that literally looks like it's just going around the planet, and it is the lifeblood of the planet, so that's where he's making this connection. The blood that goes around the planet, quite literally. The lifeblood of the planet. Te iwarete mo na. So te is quoting someone else's words, and then iwareru means to be said. So he's literally quoting, it is said that. Temo is saying even. So it's even said that. And then na is just a masculine way of saying huh, or right. So in the English version he says, Mako is the lifeblood of the planet? The hell it is. So in the English version this guy's coming off a lot more opinionated. He's already turning down these claims and saying that no, Mako's not the lifeblood of the planet.
剥がしても剥がしてもすぐ元通り。
剥がしても剥がしてもすぐ元通り. So 剥がす is to peel off something. So peeling off these flyers. 剥がしても剥がしても means even if you pull, and said again twice to just say no matter how many times you pull it off, すぐ元通り. すぐ means straight away, right? Right away, straight away. すぐ Moto is the original or the previous. So if you have, for example, a previous boyfriend or a previous girlfriend, you could say moto kareshi or moto kanojo. Moto just means previous. Moto dori, so we've seen this dori used already as like sonotori, just like that. So just like moto, as it was originally. And so moto dori means as before or as it was originally. So, sugu motodori, to go right back as it was before. Now in the English version he says, goddamn eco-warriors with their dumbass posters. So in the English version this guy is really anti-avalanche and all of this stuff. You can see he's really strongly opinionated. In the Japanese he's not so opinionated. He's just saying that he keeps on pulling it down. But they've really made him strongly anti-avalanche in the English version.
妄想じみた主張はともかく、しつこさには頭が下がるよ。
Regardless of their delusional claims, I gotta take my hat off to their persistence. So, 妄想じみた主張はともかく、しつこくさには頭が下がるよ. So, 妄想 is just wild ideas, delusion, right? So just crazy ideas. 妄想 jimita. So, jimiru actually means to soak in something. So it's kind of like soaked in delusion. But the actual meaning of jimiru means to have a touch of, to look like, to appear like, right? So it's soaked in the essence of whatever he said before. 妄想 jimita. And then 主張 is a claim or an assertion. So, claims or assertions that are drenched in fantasy and delusion, wa tomokaku. So as for that, putting that aside. Tomokaku means just putting that aside, or apart from, setting it aside. And so now you know that he's going to be talking about a positive aspect, because he said a negative thing, putting that aside, a positive thing comes next. Shitsuko-sa ni wa. So shitsukoi means to just be really persistent, right? Really stubborn, right? Oh, shitsukoi just keeps on going on and on and on. Shitsuko-sa, as we saw in the previous episode, if you just drop the e in an e adjective into sa, it turns adjectives from yowai, weak, into yowasa, weakness. And so this is the same thing is happening here. He's changing persistent, shitsukoi, into persistence, shitsuko-sa. Ni wa just means as for or regarding, and then atama ga sagaru. So atama is your head, and then sagaru is to put down. So you put down your head, you bow your head to him. So in Japan, this would be a common expression to show that you admire someone or you're saluting someone, right? You bow to someone. But a more Western way of saying it would be to take off your hat to someone. And so here, to take off your hat to someone to show respect. So in the Japanese version, he's actually showing respect to Avalanche. He's saying, look, they might be deluded, but I gotta take my hats off to them. They're pretty persistent. Now, in the English version, he doesn't have any of that positivity. He just says, I tear them down and they're back up inside an hour. Like I got nothing better to do. So he actually kind of comes off a little bit pathetic in the English version. He's just whinging, complaining, anti-Avalanche. He's just a character you're going to hate, right? But in the Japanese version, he's not really that... I don't really hate him that much in the Japanese version. He's just a guy who's doing his job. And then he's like, oh, these guys are crazy. They got crazy ideas. But hey, at least they're persistent.
見ろよ、あの美しい鉄骨。たまんねえな。
Just look at that beautiful steel pillar. There's nothing like it. So this guy's a little bit weird, okay? He's calling a steel pillar quite beautiful. And so, miru yo, look. あの美しい tekotsu. So, that thing over there, utsukushi means beautiful. And so there's lots of ways of saying pretty and beautiful in Japanese. And so something like kirei might be the more normal way of saying, oh, pretty, oh, that's nice. But beautiful, right? It's a little bit more eloquent, a little bit more fancy, is utsukushi. So very beautiful. So he's calling this steel pillar beautiful. Steel pillar is the next word, tekotsu. And then he says, tamane na. So tamane actually means tamaranai. And that means that you cannot help but do something, right? You just can't hold yourself back. It's completely out of this world and you just need it. For example, you just really want to eat something and you're just like, I can't hold myself back. That would be tamaranai. And so he's saying that it's just nothing like it, right? He just absolutely loves this steel pillar, tamaranai. There's nothing like it. So he's a little bit of a nut, maybe a little bit of a, construction otaku or something. So he's clearly the opposite end of the kind of eco-terrorists trying to save the planet. He's more about human progression. And that's exactly what they're touching on in the English version here. They say, I mean, look at all that steelwork. You're trying to tell me that's not progress? So the English translator has noticed that this guy is clearly some sort of, progress guy rather than planet guy. And so they've changed the translation to be more focused on the progress rather than just saying that he's crazy about steel towers.
おい、あんた、どうした
What the... What? Okay. Interesting. Changes. Okay. So, this happens. Spoilers. So, interesting. I don't know what's going on here, but something weird's going on. Timey-wimey stuff with things blowing up. And so this guy's like, hey, are you alright? Oi, anta, doshita? So oi is like, hey, anta is you, and doshita is what's up. So what the? You okay, buddy?
魔法中毒かよ
Ooh, okay, so these ghost things appear again, and just like before, no one can see them. They're hovering around this guy, and he says, Marco Junkie, huh? Figures. So this is interesting. I looked at the English version first on purpose because I actually disagree with the choice of Marco Junkie, and I'll explain why. Chudoku can mean addiction, but it could also mean poisoning, like gas poisoning, gasu chudoku. Now, gas poisoning is not an addiction, okay? You're getting poisoned by the gas. Which one is more better fitting for the Final Fantasy VII world? Marco poisoning, a known problem and side effect of having Marco put into your body, or Marco addiction, taking Marco like a drug. I've never heard of this use in the whole Final Fantasy VII universe, so if this is just a new thing that people take Marco like a drug, then okay, Marco Junkie makes sense. But I've never heard of that before, so for me, Marco poisoning sounds much more on point with the actual story, because he's not purposely taking it, right? He got it injected into him to become a soldier, and he's getting those side effects, and he's noticing those side effects. So I think this should actually be Marco poisoning, huh?
またあいつか
And then those weird ghosts go off on their merry way. And then Cloud says, those guys again. So, mata aitsu ka. Mata means again, and then aitsu is those guys, and ka is, Okay, so it was a very nice, quick episode. Let's get on to the review. So the first word we have here is kikan. Remember, to come back from a long journey. Kikan. Daiseiko. A huge success. Daiseiko. Dekai. So huge. Dekai. Hajime. The beginning or the first. Hajime. Ippo. So a step. Ippo. Hajime no ippo. The first step. Pihara. So the flute thing, or being kind of loud. Tsukamaru. To be captured, to be caught. Tsukamaru. Tsugi. So the next. Tsugi no, the next something. Tsugi. Jiyu kodo. So jiyu is freedom, and then kodo is your action. So free actions. Jiyu kodo. Saiko. So the very best, the most, the highest. Saiko. Umai. So just delicious. Oh, uma. Delicious. Ku. The kind of vulgar way of saying to eat. Chow down or let's grub in, right? Ku. Ajito. So here the hideout or the safe house. Ajito. Mise. The shop or the establishment. Mise. Na. The name. Kimi no nawa. Na. Name. Kaomise, to show your face, to make an appearance. Kaomise. Anshin, so relief or peace of mind. Anshin. To-chan, so the cute way of saying dad, daddy. To-chan. Kaeru, so the normal way of saying to return home. Kaeru. Meguru, so to go around. Meguru. Iwareru, to be said. Iwareru. Hagasu, so to peel off, to tear off. Hagasu. Sugu, so straight away. Sugu. Motodori, so as it was originally or as before. Motodori. More so wild ideas, delusions. More so. Jimiru, so to be soaked in like something, right? To appear like something. Jimiru. Shucho, so a claim or an assertion, you're saying that something's true, that is your shucho. Tomokaku, so putting that aside, apart from that, setting that aside, tomokaku. Shitsukoi, so to be persistent and stubborn, shitsukoi. Atama ga sagaru, so to bow your head, to admire something greatly, or to take off your hat. Atama ga sagaru. Utsukushi, so just beautiful, utsukushi. Tamaranai, just you can't help but do something. Tamaranai, it's irresistible. Tamaranai. And chudoku, poisoning or addiction. Chudoku. And so chudoku could be gas poisoning, the bad thing, or it could be alcohol or tobacco addiction, right? Tabako chudoku, smoking addiction. Okay, so that's it for the review for this episode. Let's get into the quiz.
P キャラ喋るんじゃねえ。捕まるぞ。次の作戦まで自由行動。アジトでな。キワに顔見せて安心させてやれ。剥がしても剥がしてもすぐ元通り。妄想じみた主張はともかく、しつこさには頭が下がるよ。見ろよ、あの美しい鉄骨。たまんねえな。魔法中毒かよ。
Yay! Congratulations, you have now finished episode 17 of Final Fantasy VII's Game Gengo. And so now we've learnt 770 words. So this episode, it was a little bit shorter, we learnt 33 new words, but hopefully the overall video length has been a little bit shorter. I've been wanting to get it shorter, and thanks to this chapter, we're probably going to be able to do that. Because in this chapter, chapter 3, there are lots of short, small scenes in lots of different varied locations and collection of characters. So rather than the previous chapters where we just had like everything was the Mako reactor, in this one we actually have more shorter scenes. This is Cloud and Tifa, this is Tifa and Marl, this is these characters, right? So it should be a lot more interesting, and hopefully we have some more shorter episodes. I have done all of the scripting for all of chapter 3, and it is like twice as big as chapter 1. However, because we have these short episodes, hopefully I can put them out more frequently, and hopefully it can be more accessible for you viewers actually watching this. I'm not sure what you prefer, whether you like the shorter episodes or the longer. It seems really 50-50. Half of the audience really likes the short episodes in the beginning. Some people like the longer episodes, so then it's like a classroom lesson. But let me know what you think in the comment sections. I'd be really interested to see which one you actually find more useful and more enjoyable, whether short or long. So thank you very much for watching, everyone. I hope you learned some new language. Please look forward to the rest of chapter 3, and thank you very much. As always, I just want to give a quick shout out to all the supporters on Patreon. Thank you so much, guys, for all of your support, and not just your support, but also just your community. I love the community so much on Discord. It's fantastic. I never thought such a thing would exist or happen. You know, these collection of all these people with different interests, but we all kind of have the same interest, video games and Japanese. It's just been absolutely outstanding. So thank you so much for that. I've been really surprised and always enjoying the Discord, so thank you so much. Great, so thank you very much, everyone. Thanks for watching. See you again next time.